My name is Jessica Norman. My husband, Tyler, and I have been a working couple married for 3 years. Until then, we had been living a peaceful and harmonious married life. But things started to change with Tyler after my father's topic came up. It all started when I took some PTO during my father's 7th anniversary to visit my hometown and mentioned it to him, and he said,
"You know, I realized I've never really heard much about your family."
I was raised in a single-parent household by my father, so I hadn't told Tyler about the family and my father, but I inherited his mansion after my father passed away. My father used to run a car dealership and was quite well off. I'm talking about what you'd call a 20th century mansion, big enough for about 5 people to live comfortably. That's where I grew up, just my father and me. When I casually mentioned this, Tyler suddenly became very interested in seeing the house. His eyes were lighting up. I haven't been back in so long, so it's probably not in great shape. No one's there when I go back, so I will just do some basic cleaning, I said.
"Then you might need some help, right? I can help too,"
he offered. He seemed really curious, so I reluctantly decided to take him with me. I didn't want him to see the mansion before we get married and get any ideas about changing it, or in the worst case scenario, suggesting we sell it, so I had been managing it quietly on my own. But to my surprise, Tyler's reaction upon seeing the house was to excitedly run around saying things like,
"Is that an outdoor bath? There are so many rooms on the 2nd floor. Amazing. There's even a room just for closets, and the study is so spacious."
The closet was apparently built for my mother, but I've been using it since I inherited it. The bathroom has windows along one entire wall, so it's more like a semi-outdoor bath. My father loved long baths, so the bathroom was designed to be spacious with a great view. Though our house is on the outskirts with not much people parsing around, I always pull down the blinds when I use it, just in case someone tries to peek. I'm grateful to my father for not having to worry about money and for letting me choose my own path in life. But after getting a job, I've been living in a regular apartment. Back to Tyler, he was thrilled about the mansion.
"I want to live here,"
he said, liking it more than I expected, which really troubled me. There were various reasons why living there would be difficult. It's far from both of our workplaces, with a commute time of over an hour one way, and it's not like it's particularly comfortable to live in. Despite Tyler's insistence, I managed to persuade him, and we dropped the subject for the time being. However, after a while, he casually mentioned,
"It's weird thinking about the future, that mansion being in your name only,"
which gave me a bad feeling. It wasn't about wanting to live there anymore. He started to care about the ownership, which made me suspect he was up to something. That house is full of precious memories with my father, and both of us loved it dearly. Plus, for reasons I'll explain later, it's currently not possible for anyone but me to live there. It might seem selfish, but I can't just put it up for sale. But since the house is my personal property and I've been covering the maintenance costs with my own money, I've been careful not to burden Tyler. I knew I couldn't keep it a secret forever, so I planned to talk about it someday. But the mention of changing the ownership really made me uneasy. For now, I decided to keep an eye on Tyler. He's a smoker and goes outside whenever he wants to smoke at home. But whereas he used to come back in about 5 minutes when we were newlyweds, I noticed it's been taking him closer to 20 minutes lately. I had been interpreting it as him smoking more due to work stress, but it started to concern me, so I followed him outside after a delay one time. That's when I found him on the phone in the car, not smoking at all. This made me seriously suspicious. In fact, for about the past 6 months, his overtime hours had noticeably increased. I was aware of that, but since he said he was busy with work, I didn't think much of it. But then I reconsidered, especially since the number of his business trips had also increased. When I became suspicious, I called his office during one of his supposed business trips, only to be told that he had taken PTO. So I planted a listening device in his bag. It stayed there from Monday through Friday without him noticing. It's small, so unless he was organizing his bag daily, he wouldn't have found it, to my delight. I can't exactly tidy up the contents of his bag for him, after all. I wouldn't want to stumble upon important documents from work or receipts from love hotels. So I discreetly removed the listening device and the receipts on Friday. Rushing to listen to the recordings, what I heard was appalling. That guy, he was spending more than half of his overtime hours at a hotel, and the person he was with was a nightclub hostess. I found out about her job and background later, but from her voice and the way she spoke, it was clear she was young and seemed very interested in the story of my father's mansion. Here's an excerpt from their conversation.
Let's help you get a divorce quickly and live in that mansion with the outdoor bath.
But it won't mean anything unless we change it into my name before I get divorced.
Oh, I want to live in that mansion with the walk-in closet as soon as possible. Do something about it.
I also want to divorce her as soon as possible and live with you, Lily. I'll think of a way, so let's do it once more.
You're too energetic.
Realizing I was being used by such a girl, I was instantly disillusioned. Thinking I wanted to continue my married life with Tyler for a long time was foolish of me. The content of the eavesdropped conversation gave me goosebumps, and I cried over my lack of judgment. And then, I was able to smoothly continue gathering evidence. But just suing for alimony and getting a divorce seemed boring, so I came up with something interesting. A surprise that would make Tyler cry. After that, we naturally started talking less and acting more indifferent towards each other. Then one day, he suddenly slammed a divorce paper on the table.
I can't take it anymore with you.
I humored him by asking for a reason.
Your cooking is terrible, and your laundry and cleaning are sloppy. I can't stand these days anymore. I can't eat your meals anymore, and I don't want to. Your cleaning is half-hearted, and you only do it on Saturdays, and the laundry, well, I just hate it all.
Even though he used to request my hamburgers for dinner several times a week and devoured them, I always finished ironing his suits for work upon request, so they were ready to use any time, and I did my best cleaning every Saturday morning. Despite both of us working, I was the one doing almost all the housework. But hearing that, I didn't even feel angry, because it was clearly a lie. I knew about him and Lily, so I understood. The reason he came up with on the spot was dissatisfaction with the housework I was most dedicated to, which is just the worst. There might have been some truth to his complaints, but that conversation killed any affection I had left. So I decided to just go along with it. So you were being considerate eating the hamburgers you loved so much. I ironed your suits so they were ready to use, but maybe they were dirty. I had no idea, I'm sorry. I made my eyes water a bit, and Tyler broke into a cold sweat, looking away. I was so fed up, I had to allow myself this bit of spite.
That mansion of yours, the maintenance costs are coming out of my money, right?
No, that's...
So that means the mansion was our joint property, right? So I'll take the mansion as compensation for divorce. I'll take good care of it, so just leave the keys, the deed, and some cash and get out.
I responded with a tearful face and did everything he said. Of course, all the crying was fake. I wouldn't shed tears for such a pathetic man. I casually left some cash and the keys and left the house right away. Just in case something like this happened, I had already looked up a hotel and secured a reservation for several nights. It was a place I always wanted to go, but never had the chance because it was close to home. Lucky me, I was finally able to use it then. I decided to fully enjoy the pleasures I could only experience then. When I returned to the hotel from work on weekdays, I could go straight to the buffet. It was my first time indulging in such luxury, and I couldn't stop eating with my fork and knife. This is definitely going to add to my waistline, but it cleansed me, my body and soul, from all the exhaustion. On weekend mornings, I thought, why not, and enjoyed breakfast in my room with room service. That elegant breakfast was soon interrupted, though.
Hey, what's the meaning of this?
Tyler called, sounding frantic.
This house, it's weird. Everything's off.
Did something happen?
Lily was. She got trapped in the walk-in closet. The door suddenly wouldn't open, from the inside or outside.
Oh, that's the Alibaba trick. Did you press the switch by accident? The Alibaba trick is like that secret thing from the Alibaba fairy tale. You know, the story with the special cave that opens and closes with a magic spell.
But that's not the only weird thing. When I lay down on the bed, this loud gong sound comes from the wall clock.
If you turn on the lamp before getting into bed, that trick won't activate.
In a different room, turning on the lamp starts playing a Cinderella narration.
That's because I loved Cinderella as a kid. That was my old room.
When I sat on the study sofa, confetti and dust fell from the ceiling.
That was my dad's way of entertaining guests. The dust is probably because it hasn't been cleaned in a while. You see, my dad has always been a bit of a prankster, loving to surprise people. When he built the house, he really focused on those tricks, so the whole place is full of surprises. I've lived there since I was born, so I know how to handle all the house's tricks, but anyone else would probably have a hard time living there normally. That's why I can sell it.
Plus, ever since we moved here 2 weeks ago, an unbelievable string of bad luck has been happening. This place is cursed, a haunted mansion. I'm cursed.
I just listened to Tyler quietly.
On my way to work, passing by a construction site, a worker fell right in front of me. If I had driven by just a little later, I might have hit him. At night, a car was speeding and almost crashing into me. I just feel in danger all the time.
All that's because of my mansion. Or is it because you did something bad?
No, it's all happening near the mansion. And there's more to the curse. Some weird rumors were spread by a rival at work, and my job got cancelled, and a friend of mine got fired.
Tyler was beating around the bush. But to summarize, a coworker and rival spread photos of him walking with Lily around the office, and after hearing about it, a client's CEO lost trust in Tyler, leading to his work being canceled. Moreover, Lily caused a scene in the club she worked at with a client who got furious after finding out that she was living with another man, and it was revealed she had been taking large tips for personal favors outside the club, leading to her losing her job and the club's top client. Lily lost her job and the club's top client at the same time. He claimed that all of this was because of my family home's curse. It sounds like someone's been feeding information to Tyler's coworker and Lily's client, right? The timing was just too coincidental. Hiya, I wonder who could be so kind. But they were blaming it on the mansion's curse, so there's that.
Come to the house quickly. Someone's trapped.
So you're saying Lily can't get out and needs help?
Yo, that's right. Do something about it. Wait. Did I mention Lily?
After getting the sudden call, I hung up and made sure to enjoy my elegant breakfast before rushing home. Can't waste a good meal after all. When I arrived at the mansion, Tyler pulled on my arm in a panic. Feeling his touch after so long gave me the creeps, and I instinctively brushed his hand away. That's when it hit me. He hadn't thought at all about what I'd been doing or where I'd been living since he kicked me out. Just worried about Lily. This fool's face suddenly made me angry. Don't touch me with those dirty hands. I meant to stay calm, but I ended up shouting my true feelings.
This isn't the time for that. Lily's in trouble.
After all the cheating and even trying to take my mansion, you still want to push your agenda.
Let's talk about that later.
No, not later. That walk-in closet is a memento from my mother. It was originally made for her, not for some gold-digging nightclub hostess blinded by the house.
Jessica, how much do you know?
This nutjob was pretty shocked to find out I knew all about Lily. I knew everything, from the start. I can help her, but there's an order to things, right?
Order?
Get on your knees and bow your head, now.
Wait, this isn't the time for that.
Just do it already. You want Lily to be saved, don't you? This might be the only time I've ever been this angry. I can't quite put it into words, but seeing Tyler's carefree face just made me incredibly furious. I mean, come on. After treating me like this and then discarding me, he thinks he can just call me up easily when he's in trouble. That's just not normal. Even just for cheating, groveling wouldn't be enough to be forgiven. Tyler finally realized I was seriously angry and knelt down trembling.
I'm sorry.
You said it yourself, didn't you? The reason for our divorce was because my housekeeping was poor. So why is there another woman here? Don't tell me you met her after we divorced. You've been going to love hotels with Lily twice a week for over half a year, hadn't you?
I didn't do such a thing.
I let a rain of photos fall over Tyler's head, who was playing dumb. His face turned pale as he saw the photos.
Why do you have photos of us going to the hotel?
You seem to be having a great time. Meanwhile, I was busy juggling work and house chores. You might have enjoyed yourself, but I wasted 3 years of marriage. I'll make sure you pay for that in alimony. Of course, I'll be taking the house back as compensation.
But Lily wants to live here.
We're talking about you and me right now. Lily has nothing to do with this, right? Besides, can you even live in this house?
Huh?
There are still many traps around the house. For example, the room at the far end of the second floor has a revolving door that sends you down to the first floor via slide if you enter unknowingly. Other rooms get flooded if certain traps are triggered, and there are countless traps hidden throughout. It's impossible to get a handle on all of them in 2 weeks. You won't lose your life, but you can't live normally. My dad used to say this house chooses its inhabitants. Maybe he's cursing you for your actions.
Cursed?
Hearing this, Tyler hastily prepared the documents to return the house to me. Then I went and opened the walk-in closet. But Lily said,
It's been hours. Just open it already.
I was so annoyed, I deliberately guided her to a trap. If you go through that door in the back, you can get down quickly. The moment Lily touched the door I pointed at, it spun around, sending her straight down to the first floor via cylindrical slide. See, you got down quickly, didn't you? Her scream echoed from the back, so she must have had quite the fun. That was a place my dad targeted for people he disliked, so it's a bit meaner than other spots.
Help me.
What's going on? Lily?
Tyler came rushing into the room again, looking so worried that I decided to show him the way. Then he went down screaming just like her.
What is this?
The landing area is a special room. It's a fun slide that absorbs impact with cushions, surrounded by cute vampire dolls. They might look a bit scary because their eyes glow in the dark.
What is this? Vampire. Don't scare me like that. It's really creepy.
Oh, scary.
What? Why are you clinging to me?
Lily, help.
Weren't you supposed to be helping me?
Afterward, the two of them came out of the room safely. But once Lily found out the house was being returned, she was furious, packed her things, and left immediately. I also kicked out Tyler and got back the cash he took when he served me the divorce papers. Through a lawyer, I demanded $30,000 in alimony from Tyler. I don't know if he'll be able to keep paying, given he's lost trust from his colleagues and clients due to the affair, but I've canceled the lease on the apartment we lived in together, and he seems to have moved back to his parents' house since he has nowhere else to go. And now Tyler, who's lost everything, still contacts me.
I'm really sorry. So, Jessica, please give me another chance. If not, at least spare me the alimony.
I'm quite fortunate now. Maybe it's better not to get involved with an unlucky husband. Actually, since I'm single again, I've decided to live in my father's mansion. I was worried about the commute being difficult, but this house is where I feel most at ease. Despite being full of tricks, I know how to handle them, and I have a fondness for this house. Being here reminds me of my father in many ways and somehow brings me peace. Tyler seemed to have had a dangerous time living here, but I've never encountered any danger on my way to work. In fact, my work is going well, and I've been put in charge of a major project. Maybe this was my prank-loving father's way of administering divine punishment. You won't get trapped in the walk-in closet if you use it normally. Maybe my father was watching over us, scaring the two but not intending to harm them.